Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has threatened to instigate crisis in any state whose governor interferes with the politics of River State. The PDP governors had in a communique issued at a recent meeting held in Jalingo, Taraba State capital, and signed by the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, restated their support for Fubara in the political crisis in the state, promising to engage the National Working Committee of their great party to revisit the Congress to correct the anomaly and allow His Excellency Governor Siminalayi Fubara to take his rightful leadership position of the party in the state. According to Wike, nobody will take away the structure he constituted, insisting that he is the leader of the party in the state. Joining us now on the show is Umar Sani, PDP chieftain and former senior special advisor on media and publicity to Vice President Namadi Sambo of Nigeria. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai, and good morning, Dr. Abati.
Umar Sani the cat. Good to see you. Well,
Dr. Abati, how are you?
I'm good. So, how did the People's Democratic Party?
That's good.
How did the People's Democratic Party get to this point where a member, Nyesom Wike, overrules the Board of Trustees, insists that he's the leader of the PDP in River State, and that any governor that tries to interfere in River State politics, including supporting Fubara, he will go to that state and cause crisis. And that for as long as he lives, nobody can take over the party structure in River State from him. What is the basis of this megalomania?
Well, Dr. Abati, let me start by telling you that, the state of the PDP at the moment is that it is a party that is wobbling and fumbling, like Coach Fani Amun will say. Because we do not have a stable leadership. Our leadership is not complete. We don't have a national chairman. We have an acting national chairman. And all other positions are intact. But the acting national chairman is the one now running the shots. And the party is unstable because it is divided into factions. While some people want the national chairman to continue, which is the Wike faction, the other faction may be led by the former vice president and presidential candidate of the PDP at the last 2023 election, Alhaji Atiku. They want a substantive national chairman to emerge. So this has placed our party in a very precarious situation where, the battle for the soul of the party is very loud and clear. Now, the introduction of Wike's shenanigans into the party is because, at least for the first time, the governors, the PDP Governors Forum, have now taken the bull by the horn to now speak the truth. Previously, the Governors Forum were neither here nor there. So they left the party at the whims and caprices of the two warring factions. Now that they have decided to wade in, definitely they will correct all the anomalies that are inherent, because with the constitution of the PDP, it is very clear who is the leader of the party in a particular state. The governor of the party in that state is the leader of the party in the state, and he has to have the structures of the party in that state. No other person will supersede him or override him in the running of the affairs of the party. Because if that is done, that is a recipe for crisis, because we cannot afford to lose Sim Fubara to another political party, because if he feels he is not in charge and he cannot run the affairs of the party in his own state, then naturally he will look for an avenue where he can adequately do so. And that will be catastrophic for the party. So I welcome the decision of the PDP Governors Forum in Jalingo, and I align with their thinking that they have to do the right thing. And I think Bala Mohammed is now providing the needed leadership that the party requires. So I think what they have said is not an empty threat, and they will naturally do what is right. And there is no way, for instance, for anybody to say he can cause crisis in any state. Perhaps, unless if he is saying that I will use the instrument of the federal government to cause crisis. But merely a minister of the Federal Capital Territory cannot go and cause crisis in other states because he is not the commander-in-chief. He does not have the instrument of causing crisis. I don't know what type of crisis he means. If he means political crisis, I think all the governors are in charge of the party in their respective states. So he cannot go there and penetrate and cause any political crisis for them. Perhaps there is another type of crisis he is looking at. But whatever crisis it is, I think is an empty boast. He cannot do anything. And I urge the National Working Committee to toe the path of the the Governors Forum to do the right thing in River State, because we cannot afford at this time that we are looking for ways and means to be able to clinch the presidency to now be in disarray. Our party is getting stronger and stronger every day. You can see that Nigerians have come out to condemn the APC. They have come out to protest against hunger and bad governance.
All right.
Their natural alternative is the PDP.
Okay. Mr. Sani, I don't know, you sound very optimistic, but I don't know if many people share your optimism, especially with the way the PDP has handled the Wike situation. Allow me to put it that way. When Mr. Wike set up G5, PDP did nothing. When Mr. Wike worked against the PDP in his state during the presidential elections, PDP did nothing. When he took on appointment as a serving minister under this APC he wants to defeat in the next election, PDP did nothing. Now he has come out boldly to dare the PDP, one man. And it looks like PDP is still burying their head in sand and wishing it away that things will happen and do the right thing. How can you hope to aspire, in the next elections when your house is in disarray and one man is holding an entire party to ransom?
Well, thank you, Ayo. This is an issue of separating the grains from the chaff. Now, when PDP National Working Committee or the National Executive Committee did not take action, it is because the Governors Forum, which is one of the strongest pressure groups within the PDP, was neither here or there, like I rightly mentioned. Now that they have taken a stand, you see, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Now, within the National Working Committee, there are those who are brought in by Wike, there are those who are brought in by Bala Mohammed, there are those who are brought in by Tambuwal, there are those who are brought in by the governor of Oyo State. And so it's a combination of people bringing people together. Now that the governors have now decided to wield their stick, the optimism is high. Don't also forget that the National Working Committee is not sleeping. Recently, they inaugurated the disciplinary committee of the party, and they submitted the name of Yesomuke to the disciplinary committee for disciplinary action. Now, it is left for the disciplinary committee to examine whether Wike is guilty of anti-party or not, and whether he needs to be sanctioned or not. Now, the work of the disciplinary committee will definitely where the National Working Committee is heading to. And it will show the seriousness of the National Working Committee in taking the necessary steps and the right direction to reposition the party. Don't forget that the Governors Forum did not say, this is what we are going to do to Wike. They said they will persuade the National Working Committee for them to be able to do the right thing. So I think the pressure group that is the most strongest is now involved, and they have already taken a stand. Previously, they were wobbling and fumbling, like I said. Some of them were even going to his office during their trial period when they were in court, soliciting for his support. Now that they are now firmly on ground, and they have now seen the dangers that his actions are posing to the party, I think they have now decided to do what is right. And my optimism is based on these two factors. One, that the disciplinary committee is there to do its work, and two, that the Governors Forum is there to put pressure on the party to do the right thing. These two things are making me very excited.
Mr. Umar, Sani, I would like to disagree with you, sir. And these are the reasons. Number one, if at this stage you still need a disciplinary committee to tell you that Wike has done anti-party activity, then the party is not ready to discipline him. If after all he did against the political party, you need a disciplinary committee to be able to tell people what he has done, then the party is not ready. I think it's either one of two things. Wike has held your party by the jugular. He has something against every key stakeholder in the party. Even you said it just now. You said when governors had cases in Supreme Court, they said they were going to meet him Wike. So that means he holds their future. You could turn it one way or the other. Wike is a god to PDP. That's the truth you people don't want to understand. For him to have the effrontery to say that, he's a god. Because if you want to deal with somebody from a political party, you go from his ward level. But even Fubara does not have the balls to go and attack Wike in the ward level. So you people have built this Frankenstein in your party, and you are dealing with it. The question I would like to ask you is, how quick will you be able to deal with Wike? Number one. Number two, do you think you'll be able to deal with him?
Okay.
Number three, is this man not going to consume your party?
Well, Rufai, let me answer you this way. Let me start by telling you that for every organization, there has to be a procedure that we have to take to be able to do something. And that is the rule of law. In the rule of law, even if a judge sees you committing crime and then you come before him, he will not say, I saw you committing the crime. If he wants to say, I saw you committing the crime, then he has to leave that position of being the judge and now become a witness to the crime. Now, Wike may have even boasted severally, but at the time he boasted, the party was in turmoil. There was the issue of are you removal or no removal, and so many other things were bringing up to put the party in crisis. Now that the party is gradually finding its feet, it is now the issue of Ayu is no longer there. He has already withdrawn his case at the court, so nobody will now use Ayu's case in court as an alibi to be able to argue that, something has not been done. And for the first time, the PDP has been able to set up two committees, one a reconciliation committee, and secondly, a disciplinary committee. And they have handed over, which is following the due process. Whether he is guilty or not will be determined by the disciplinary committee. So if the disciplinary committee does not do its work, that is when it will now be laughable. I agree with you entirely that he who pays the piper dictates the tune sometimes, but not in all cases. Now that the Governors Forum, who are major beneficiaries of his largesse, who have been very silent because of what they have gained from him, one way or the other in terms of assistance, are now up and doing. And they have now decided that, no, enough is enough. This is what we want to do. I think we are now towing the right path. And towing that right path, it is an easy way to deal with Wike. Because anytime you see Wike abusing anybody, it means that they have fallen out. If you saw him abusing the former governor, Peter Odili, and his wife, they are falling out. You saw him abusing secondos, they are falling out. You see, anytime he falls out with anybody, he goes to the podium, and performs his miracle. And then he now abuses. So for him to have even gone to Port Harcourt, to go on this podium, on the stage, to say that any governor who has done this, it is a sign of defeat. It is a sign that he knows that with the pressure of the governors, everything that he has done will be reversed. And if you look at him on that stage, what he has been saying, he will say, INEC is here, the so person, police, security agencies are here. He is trying to legitimize that Congress, so that when he goes to court, which is his regular area of expertise, he will not be able to say, INEC was there, the REC himself was there, this so person was there, so that his argument will be valid. But the party, this is an internal affairs of the party, and the party has the right to cancel a Congress that has been conducted if it is satisfied that that Congress did not follow procedure. And so when the Governors Forum meet the National Working Committee, I think they will be able to resolve this matter, and then they will be able to address it. And I can assure you that addressing it will not take any length of time. And I know that what you said about Wike, being very strong in the party. Yes, he is strong in the party because some of the party people are doing his bidding. But at the moment, let me tell you something, that the actual person who brought in Damagum, Ambassador Damagum, is not Wike, is Bola Mohammed. So if Bola Mohammed is no longer on the side of Wike, then it means that Damagum will have to go back to his cocoon. He has to go and listen to his cocoon. Now, this is how it works. So previously, perhaps Bola Mohammed was unconcerned. Now he's concerned. And so the resolution of this crisis will be as easy as anything if all the principal officers and the key actors agree to work with the Governors Forum to be able to right the wrongs that Wike has done. And I think that is not a difficult task, which will be done very soon. And I can assure you that we cannot agree and we cannot afford to lose Fubara to another political party.
Okay. One of the things you said when you were responding to my earlier question was that the PDP is a party that is wobbling and fumbling. Now, you are not the first person to criticize the party. Dino Melaye, Senator Dino Melaye, also previously said the party has been commercialized and privatized. Now, Wike himself says the party is led by unstable characters who are on their way to the APP. In your opinion, how do you think that party can be rescued, since it seems that the peace and reconciliation effort led by Board of Trustees Chairman Senator Adolphus Fubara does not seem to be working?
Yes, you see, the Board of Trustees is the conscience of the party. But unfortunately, the constitution of the PDP does not give them any supervisory or any active role in superintending over the National Working Committee. And that the final body within the PDP is the National Executive Committee, then of course the National Convention. So the BOT is only advisory. Now, whatever the BOT does, it is not binding on the party. Now, for anybody to say that the party is being led by unstable characters, well, that's an opinion anybody can hold. But to me, it is not about whether people are stable or unstable. It is because we do not even have the head. No, we don't have a national chairman at the moment. We have an acting national chairman. Perhaps if the head, like we always say in Nigerian parlance, if the head is rotten, then the whole body is likely not to be good. Now, if the head is good, we are likely going to have, a body that is good. So, as it is now, we are looking forward to putting a chairman who is competent, has the capacity, and the will to drive the party to the next level. And from all indications, these things are possible and they will materialize.
All right. Are you looking at taking the threats made by Mr. Wike very seriously, especially with regards to him setting fire in the states, or causing or instigating political crisis in the states if any one of the state governors are in support of Governor Fubara. Are you looking at this as a serious threat, or do you think it's just careless talk?
Well, you see, in Nigeria, security agencies don't take such type of statements, especially when it comes from somebody who is in government and somebody who is perhaps very sympathetic to the government, very seriously. So many statements, careless statements, have been made in the past, which they have come to pass, and nobody has done anything. For instance, my former governor, Nasir El-Rufai, had already spoken about body bags, people being in body bags. Nobody cared, you know. So Wike understands the terrain properly, and he knows that whatever he says, nothing will happen. So he can now open his mouth and say whatever he likes. In a sane society where rule of law is very pertinent, he will have been invited to tell the security agencies what he means by setting fire in certain states and why he wants to set fire, and so many other questions, relevant questions. But now that what he is trying to do is to send a threat to the governors to say, resign your position or I will deal with you. That is his own language. But I think the governors are now unanimous. And because they are unanimous, it now puts him in a very precarious situation. So the only thing left for him, he cannot go follow them individually and begin to abuse them or beat them or do anything, to dissuade them from their position. The only thing is to send them a note of warning. Don't do what you want to do. Allow me to lead my state. That is what he's trying to say. And I don't think that threat is anything to go by. He has no capacity. Although I know that he has, an excellent, hand of mischief. But I don't think he has the capacity to deal with 13 people, 13 governors.
Okay.
He cannot bring 13 governors down because, yes.
Umar Sani, well, I guess it will be correct to conclude by saying again that Minister Wike is a piece of fishbone stuck in the throat of the People's Democratic Party. How the PDP takes care of that, we are all watching, remains to be seen. But thank you very much for joining us on The Morning Show.